Nyoken kind of scouts that or is able to deal with it. Some dropships coming in to take care of this. To the south, more dropships actually piling in. Doesn't look like they have really anything in it, but that is going to scare Artosis back with what troops he had left. That was actually kind of a nice fake and bait there by Nyoken. Nyoken continuing to move the siege tanks, just sticking to the siege tank press. You can see he's just got a whole bunch of siege tanks queued as he's running forward. Knows he has the economic lead, just wants to keep the economic harass pressure, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is the style he loves to play. Press on that harass while he continues to macro up, and just moving some more tanks up in the field, posturing, positioning. He's got a, wow, nice counter drop right there, and he might even be able to take this command center out if it stays landed. I'm not sure how many SCVs are, yeah, it looks actually the SCVs are going to move in to try to counterattack this. They will get one siege tank, another counter drop coming in, but not a lot in it, just a single SCV and 2 siege tanks, and those tanks on the southern ground are going to be able to take care of that actually. A lot of SCV bleeding here from Artosis. Hopefully that additional base will be able to make up the difference for him, but honestly I think the amount of SCVs he's lost here has really been extremely detrimental, and it's firmly put the lead into Nyoken's hands. Got this base, but he needs, I don't know that he can really transfer SCVs right now, and just needs to start spamming and building out of all these command centers to replenish it as quickly as possible. And oh, idle SCVs here at the natural experiment, sorry, that third, which is even more devastating. Needs to make sure those SCVs are right on cue and building, because he's already economically behind, trying to put down additional factories so we can try to keep up with this. Right now, as far as air superiority, just about even with Nyoken. Nyoken has 3 dropships. I think Artosis has, it looks like he has 4 actually, so 1 up, but he just doesn't have the troops to fill it with, and now he's running at a smaller economy as well. 2 more factories being planted for Nyoken. I think Nyoken could actually go up a couple more factories on top of this and take an expansion. It looks like he's doing so now. He's going to take these expansions to the upper left-hand corner. Another drop pushing in, going to be able to take out more SCVs to the north. Not enough siege tanks to really defend on this ridge, and beautiful positioning, just really exploiting the fact that Artosis just really troop light, caught him at a really bad transition point. Really well played altogether by Nyoken thus far. Looks like the siege tanks going to be able to clean this up for Artosis, but still more economic damage wreaked. Still doesn't have much of an army to go in and put in some counter pressure, but it looks like this base is starting to run, is starting to operate. Still some idle SCVs, and he needs to get them moving. Looks like he is doing so. Pretty good saturation. Looks like idle SCVs here for Nyoken as well, here and there, but looks like they're actually just the recently built SCVs. So additional factories being planted. Still that additional siege tank, char and boosters as well. Pretty heavy Goliath tank attack. Nyoken now taking his additional base in this upper left-hand corner. It looks like he's going to plant a turret there as well and try to claim some territory here. And now let's see if Artosis can actually transition. It looks like he's starting to produce a decent-sized army. I think he's got to feel like he's in a position where he needs to run in with it a counterattack. Actually, I take that back. He might feel somewhat comfortable because he has this additional expansion over Nyoken, and he took it quite a bit early here in that bottom right. Nyoken, oh, he's got some dropships right alongside. There's nothing protecting this. Let's see if he actually spots it. He's bringing the dropships back, and I don't know if he scouted that or not. I'm going to actually take vision off for Artosis to see. No, he in fact did not scout it. He hasn't comp-scouted that direction. He doesn't know about that expansion in the bottom right, which could be a huge factor here into the late game. Nyoken starting to, I'm sorry, Artosis sending that SCV scout kind of around the map, wants to kind of get a good look at what army he might be going up against. And another expansion here from Nyoken. So Nyoken actually playing a little bit risky here, feeling that Artosis really wasn't in a position to be aggressive and counterattack, putting down another 2 expansions, and now counterattacking that bottom right-hand corner. Looks like he did comsat, did come across that base. That's lifted off. Artosis able to get the SCVs out, but that was going to stop what he thought might have been his trump card. But he's got a load of troops out as well. Nyoken is in no position to really counterattack. He's got basically his dropships kind of out in the field, and they just went for that drop, so he might end up losing both these expansions in the upper left. However, he wasn't, I'm sorry, just this expansion in the upper left. Fortunately for him, he wasn't really mining out of it. Gonna have to lift it off and pull it back, and let's see what he decides to do with his dropships that are out in the field. Looks like he's just kind of holding position here. I'm actually lost track of what he had. He's still trying to put down turrets, and so he's going to lose this command center to the left. That's really going to help Artosis out in the mid-game. Looks like the dropship's actually transitioning across the midfield. They are planning to attack a pretty decently entrenched position here over that natural expansion. I think Artosis will be able to load up and kind of counterattack there. Let's see, or sorry, defend there. That's one of the things with this dropship on dropship plays is it's kind of a defensive, passive, weird situation where sometimes you want to load up and go for the counterattack, sometimes you do not. But at the moment, it looks like Nyoken a little bit in red supply, but otherwise pretty far ahead economically. And these dropships getting spotted by that SCV in the midfield. So again, very nice scouting, but a bunch of siege tanks coming in to supplement this attack force across the middle of the map here. So it looks like Nyoken is going to go again on that southern boundary, siege up some tanks underneath while he drops from the north and just try to use a much superior army to try to play the game in some superior positioning. Artosis is still behind at 3 bases versus 4. Looks like he was just floating a command center out, but it looks like it's going to get pushed back. Spotting that large ground army though, so let's see if he's going to be able to respond to it in time or not. Now actually loading a lot of it up, and it looks like he's going to go in for a counterattack right where the dropships are located here in this upper left-hand corner. Comm setting first, seeing the troops that are there, and this is going to be pretty much a fist fight. Artosis unloading to try to get the advantage underneath. It looks like actually, okay, there's actually the ground army underneath this time. So trying to push it back and kind of interesting posturing back and forth. Artosis still economically behind. It looks like Nyoken is going to, off the 2 base trades, he's going to take that one in the bottom right-hand corner while Artosis is taking his. But still, Nyoken has been mining for a longer period of time off more bases, essentially. That's going to work out for him. It looks like he's going to be able to take that barracks out and force Artosis to build that once again. Still, I think that was worth its weight in scouting gold here. A lot of factories pumping here for Nyoken. Looks like he's up to 7 on the opposite side. Looks like we're just up to 6, just now putting down the 7th and the 8th inside of Artosis' base, actually going up to 9 as well. I'm not sure he has enough to really economically sustain that right now. He's got a lot of minerals in the bank, but over the long haul, that could hurt him. Looks like now, Nyoken going to be able to just run up over this natural secondary. The 2 turrets, actually looks like that dropship going to sneak out, going to be taken out before it can unload, but it's not going to be enough with all the siege tanks underneath. Going to be able to wreak havoc, get a lot more SCVs. The SCVs coming off the line to try to attack, but the Goliaths right there to greet them. Some spotting for the dropships up above. The counter dropships flooding in right now, but again, with the siege tanks underneath and those Goliaths on the front ground, I'm not sure how successful they're going to be at dealing with this 2-pronged attack. It's really Nyoken doing a beautiful job of using the architecture of the map against Artosis' troop positioning and doing a fantastic job of it. You can see the troops as they're getting out, just getting pummeled from the troops to the south, trying to reposition his tanks from the north to at least stem this attack, and all sorts of units, you can just see them on the mini-map, starting to flood forward to attack Artosis. Artosis lost all of his SCVs on that natural secondary, so now he's at 3 functional bases. Nyoken expanding absolutely everywhere, feeling very comfortable, expanding everywhere in that bottom right-hand corner. Again, feeling that Artosis is in a position where he really cannot put any counter pressure up. He's only in a defensive position, and again, right back into the style of play that he really enjoys. Looks like some suicide SCVs able to take out a siege tank there, and also providing some padding for those siege tanks to the north, but the question is how long that is going to last. Another huge advantage for Nyoken, by the way, level 2 weapons versus the no upgrades here for Artosis. Artosis actually had that armory out quite a while, or quite a bit earlier, but not really expending it, falling behind as far as that goes. And when you do that, you just need superior troops, and it seems like he's been behind in the troop count the entire time. Beautiful drop again from Nyoken, taking out a lot of supply depots here to the right of the map. Looks like these Goliaths are just going to wander forward and suicide, but still able to take out some precious supply depots. You can see the supply difference here, 13 supply versus 153. Nyoken just playing fantastically. Artosis is going to try to sneak another expansion right here to just try to stay in this match, but 3 siege tanks just waiting alongside to wander up into this upper left-hand base and just completely wipe it out. There are a couple siege tanks here in position, but let's see how long it's really going to last. More troops just pouring absolutely everywhere, and I think Artosis might be in that stage again where I'm not sure he can keep up with his economic output compared to the amount of factories he has, and actually putting down a couple more supply depots to try to keep up with it. But yeah, he's got to worry about kind of running out of resources very rapidly here. A ton of dropships moving to the upper left. Doesn't look like all of them are filled, but he is going to be able to stop this expansion in the upper left. Should be able to swing into the natural secondary after not too long, and right now Nyoken has a lock on this game. He has all the bases firmly in his control. He has all the bases that Artosis really wants to take out of his hands. Has absolutely devastated this natural secondary several times in a firm supply position, has the upgrade advantage, everything really working out for him altogether, and still don't see that armory spinning, which is absolutely really going to hurt Artosis throughout this game, especially being behind in supply count. Looks like Nyoken just right on the verge of being maxed, where Artosis still working his way past, first of all, the supply cap, because he ended up getting, again, losing all these supply depots to that right-hand corner. But additionally, just trying to breach that 150 supply mark. So right now, Nyoken doesn't have to get aggressive anymore. He can just sit back and rest on his lures, just kind of sturdy up all of his defenses across the board. But honestly, that's not really Nyoken's style. I expect once he maxes out to just load up all of his troops and just go in for some massive attacks right on Artosis' main. That tends to be more of his MO, rather than kind of staying back and letting the game play out, just going up and being aggressive. Right now, somehow still a couple minerals at the main, but just to give you a functional count, looks like that third expansion still running, as well as that 9 o'clock. He also has, it looks like the base is not very good at SCV saturation, but running out in the field, which puts him at a total of 6 operational bases versus Nyoken's kind of barely, I would call that a half an expansion, barely 4, more or less. It's kind of more like 3.5. And a big attack in the middle. I think this is kind of desperation attack from Artosis. That was going to be it in the midfield. Nyoken very quickly taking care of it, and Artosis has to GG. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.